Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So here it is, our beginning of our Shakespeare unit. We've talked a little bit about how to understand character dynamics and characterization. We've talked a little bit about prefixes and suffixes, and now we're going to talk a little bit about archaic language. It's really important for you to understand that there are going to be words that you're seeing for the first time ever. These are not new words by any means. They're actually called archaic words, and it's language that was used many years ago and has since kind of just died off. Shakespeare was really famous for not only his plays that he wrote, but a lot of language that he invented, a lot of words that he invented. When you're finished here with this video, you're going to hop over to your play, pause it, and you're going to watch a little video where you're going to learn about some of the language of Shakespeare. I want to take a second to spend some time with you to address some of the most frequently seen or used archaic language that you're going to see while we're reading Romeo and Juliet. A lot of language that we have, the majority of it really, is derived from Old Latin language, and Latin isn't something that's generally spoken anymore, but we see a lot of language that relates to it. We don't have a French class here at Salamanca High School anymore, but we do have Spanish and Seneca. And in your Spanish class, probably not so much your Seneca language class, but in your Spanish class, you have seen a lot of these similar words. Let me get my pen over here. Let's start right here with the word adieu. If you've ever heard somebody who speaks French, or you've taken a French class, you've been somewhere where they speak French, even in Canada, adieu is a very common form of the word goodbye. So on your sheet, you have a sheet that looks just like this. Next to the word adieu, you're going to make sure you write down goodbye, but I just want, while you're jotting down some of the definitions, I want you to notice this, A-D-I, right here. That is the same as the beginning of the word adios, which is goodbye in Spanish. ADI, you can see that's one of those Latin-derived words. Prefixes or suffixes or portions of the words will seem similar across languages. So adieu is goodbye. We're going to come down here to anon. Now, some of these I'm just going to give you some tips on how to remember what they mean. Anon, I know everybody says, oh, that must be short for anonymous. No, get that out of your head, clear it out of your head, no anonymous. This really means soon. So there will be times where we hear the phrase anon used, hurry anon, or things like that might be come back soon or return anon, but this means soon. And the word soon, S-O-O-N, has this O-N ending. If you remember that, this is going to help you with anon here. So soon. Now, I feel like the dost and doth, these are some of the easier ones to remember because we have do in both of these. These two words here simply just mean do or does. My pen is a little shaky today. Hopefully your writing is a little bit better than mine. Sorry about that. So do or does. That's why I'm going to tell you what to write. Hark. We've talked about the word herald, what a herald is, what it means to herald. That was a word that we talked about when we were in the Odyssey. What was a herald, or who would herald a message? If you see the word hark, this is an easy one for you to remember, because when a herald gives a message, a person has to listen. The word hark, if you remember the song Hark the Herald Angels Sing, that's listen, there are angels singing. So hark means to listen. So next to that, I want you to jot down the word listen, please. And your goal is to write neater than Mrs. Brunko. I'm going to make it very clear right now that your giggles and any immature ideas about some of the language needs to get thrown out right away. The word hoe, we're going to see this, we're going to read it, we're going to hear it, and it does not mean anything derogatory like you are thinking. In this, ho is an exclamation. It's something that calls attention. Sometimes it is mocking, sometimes it's celebrating. So if you remember Snow White, hi ho, it's off to work we go. They're celebrating, it's excitement, like, hey, we're off, hi ho. So when you see this, think of it like yay or woohoo. Think about it like that. Wahoo. I know that you guys hear me say that in class sometimes. So when you see ho, I want you to think of the word or the phrase wahoo that I use. This is an exclamation of some sort. List is not a list of things that you do. List is also like ho, it means listen. That should be a really easy one for you to remember because it's the beginning of the word listen. That's one of those Latin derivatives there. List means to listen. So when you hear hark and when you hear list, you're going to remember that those mean to listen. Those ones are synonymous with each other, okay? We've talked a little bit before about what this apostrophe means when we're looking at language. Now, if you see that, this just simply indicates that there is a letter missing. Not necessarily missing, but that has been replaced with an apostrophe. And in this case, that letter is a V. When you see ne'er, that is never. So, right over here, you should jot down the word never. That's what you're going to be remembering for that. Perchance is one we'll see from time to time, but I really want you to pay close attention and remember that these words have hints in them. Now, chance, you might have heard the phrase by chance. By chance can you do something, or did you by chance see something? I could also say, did you maybe hear something, or did you maybe do something? Perchance is, and we have per, which is like a singular, chance, obviously you understand what that word means. This is to say maybe. Okay, neater writing than Mrs. Brinko. Syrah is a word that you're going to hear in Romeo and Juliet a few times. A lot of people think it's like a formal word, formal way of saying sir. That's not the case at all. Syrah is a lowly person. Now, we talked about lowness of class when we did The Lady and the Tiger. Lowness or lowly is someone of a low social status. So when we hear in Romeo and Juliet the phrase Syrah or the word Syrah, it's kind of a jab. It's talking about somebody who doesn't have a high social status, who is not important. They're a very insignificant person. So Syrah, S-I-R-R-A-H, like you see on your paper, make sure that you over here have jotted down it's kind of like someone who might be considered a bum or just a lowly person, someone who doesn't have a lot of class as far as their socioeconomic status. This is something you've seen, something you've said, something you've heard. There's a very famous "get thee to a nunnery" quote that we're going to hear. But thee, thy, thou, thine, this whole series of TH family words, they mean you. You, yours, your, THEE. So you, Y-O-U. Okay? A wench. Sometimes you hear this used in a foul manner, and it is really a archaic way of kind of calling somebody a floozy, but a wench is a female person, and this really varies in tone from tenderness to contempt. So it can mean in a very gentle way, just a woman, just another person of female existence. Remember that. I want you to try to always remember that that's how it's used because I don't want you to be using it in a derogatory manner. But it can also mean someone who is, in a very contemptuous way, someone who is not so high class, someone who is not so respectable in the community as far as women go. And then the last word down here at the bottom you have is woo. Now, I don't know if you've heard the term to woo somebody, but if you're trying to woo someone of the opposite sex, you're trying to get them to really notice you or pay attention to you. You want them to, like you. Maybe someone is trying to woo you with flowers before asking you to prom. Maybe somebody's trying to woo you with chocolates on Valentine's Day. To woo, W-O-O, means to seek and to gain. When someone is wooing another person, they are seeking that person to gain their acceptance, to gain their acknowledgement, to gain their admiration. So to woo down here, I want you to, it's kind of tough for me with my pen down here at the bottom of my page, but to seek and to gain. To seek and to gain. You're going to have a door opener when you come into class, so make sure that you have followed through this whole video. Make sure you've jotted down the notes. If you didn't get any of the words that I don't have filled in on my page, I want you to go back and listen a second time. You're going to come in with this paper tomorrow, and you're going to have a door opener. If you have your paper and you have it completed and you have it filled out, you're golden because you'll have your door opener answers already. But this will be a way for me to assess how you're doing and that you watched the entire video. You're going to create a couple of sentences with door opener, or your door opener will be you creating a couple of sentences with these words. So be sure that you have that prepared. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I want you to make sure that you email me right away, touch base with me through SharePoint or some other format so that we can make sure that you are on the same page as I am. Please remember that I have 6 and 7 free tomorrow for you. If you want to come in during another class, 1, 3, 4, 5, or 8 or 9, to get a second dose of this, you are more than welcome to do that. I just need you to make sure you have a study hall pass from your teacher. So if anybody has any questions for me, please feel free to reach out and enjoy. I will talk to you soon. I will see you in class tomorrow. Bye.